Every black woman old enough knows this. Sitting on the floor between your mama's knees, the hot comb warming on the stove behind you, a black mother turning your head gentle to the light, and two soft words, hold your ear. That kitchen was the only beauty shop we ever needed. This is Loretta. Harlem, the summer of 1972. Look at her now, 79 years old, hair still thick at the crown and full to the ends. She never bought any of it off a shelf. These are 20 things black women did to keep their hair full. Stay with me. Number 20, the beer rinse. A can of rain gold, left open on the counter to go warm and flat, poured slow through the hair after washing and never rinsed back out. That can sat on the counter in 100 Harlem kitchens on a hot Saturday night. The yeast and the malt in that flat beer coated every strand and swelled it from the outside in. Hair that hung limp came back with body. Hair that looked dull came back with a shine like a wet stone. The older black woman tipped the can at the sink and worked it through slow. The smell lifted off as the hair dried in the summer air. A can of beer cost a few cents. The volumizing foam on the shelf today runs $8, $10, $12 a bottle, and it does far less. So why did we ever stop doing this? Because nobody could put a flat can of beer in a fancy bottle and sell it back to you. Number 19, greasing the scalp. A jar of blue magic sat on nearly every dresser in Harlem in the 1970s, and the blue of that jar is a color a whole block would know in the dark. The black grandmother parted the hair into neat rows with the tail of a rat tail comb. A little grease on the fingertip laid straight onto the scalp along each part. Down one row, then the next, until the whole head was oiled and calm. The scalp stayed soft. The itch stayed gone. The hair grew out of a scalp that was fed instead of stripped bare. That jar cost about $1. The scalp serum in the little dropper bottle today asks $30 and $40 to do the very same job. A jar of blue magic and 10 minutes with a comb did what the whole scalp aisle charges for now. Number 18, the scarf at night. Every evening before bed, a satin scarf came off the dresser and went over the hair, folded once and tied at the nape. A square of satin from the Notions counter on Lenox Avenue. Nothing more than that. It kept the cotton pillowcase from drinking up the oil all night. The style held. The moisture stayed in the hair instead of the pillow. The older black woman woke up nearly ready, with 3 more days left in a set she had done just once. That scarf cost $0.25. The bonnet in the online advertisement wants $80 now for the same square of cloth. The scarf was never vanity. It was respect for the hour she had already put in. Number 17, castor oil. The old folks called it sweet oil, and a small bottle of it came home from the pharmacy on Lenox Avenue for pennies. Thick, slow, almost black in the glass. The black grandmother warmed a few drops between her palms and pressed it into the edges and the ends. Those are the 2 places hair always gives out first. The edges filled back in over the weeks. The ends stopped snapping off. Over one summer, the whole head carried more weight and hung longer. That bottle cost almost nothing. The growth oil with the gold label today runs $20 and $30 an ounce for the exact same castor oil, poured into a smaller bottle and priced up high. Number 16, the once-a-week wash. Black women wash their hair on a schedule, most of them once a week, some once in 2 weeks. That was the right amount, and everybody in the house knew it. Saturday was wash day in a Harlem walk-up. Washing more than that stripped out the oil this hair needs and left it dry and starved. So, the wash waited its turn. The oil built back up along the strand. The hair stayed soft and strong straight through to the next Saturday. Then the shampoo companies came along. They taught a whole country to lather up every single day. Then they sold the products to fix the dryness that daily washing caused. What they called an old-fashioned habit is being sold back to young women right now as a brand new movement with a brand new name. Let me stop right here for one breath, because I have something for you. Everything you are hearing came from the older Black women who worked it all out at the kitchen sink, and not one bit of it was ever written down. That is how we very nearly lost it. So I did the one thing nobody thought to do back then. I wrote all of it down. Every trick, every remedy, the amounts and the steps, gathered into the guides at blackgrandmasvault.com. And here's the part I love. These are kitchen cures for pennies. The very same tricks that quietly replace a whole cabinet of expensive store-bought bottles. It is what your grandmother knew, kept safe in one place, and yours to hand to your own daughter. Scan the code on your screen or tap the link right below. Now stay close, because the best of what these women knew is still coming. Back to the countdown. Number 15, the pressing comb on the stove. This is the one every Black woman who lived it can still smell the second she hears it named. The metal comb rested right on the flame of the stove until it was hot. That kitchen turned into the only beauty shop the block would ever need. A Black mother sat her daughter on a chair between her knees on a Saturday evening, the window open to the summer street. A little grease, a section lifted, the hot comb drawn through slow and steady from the root to the very end. The soft sizzle, the thin line of smoke off the comb, the care it took not to catch the tip of an ear. By Sunday morning, the hair was pressed straight and shining for the front pew at church. A pressing comb cost a few dollars one time and lasted 20 years. The flat iron and the salon silk press today ask $90, then $120 every single visit after that. The beauty shop was the kitchen, and the kitchen never once sent a bill. Number 14, sulfur 8 on the scalp. A jar of it, and the strong smell of it, lived in nearly every bathroom cabinet in the 1970s. The Black grandmother worked it along the parted scalp once or twice a week. It calmed the itch. It cleared the flakes. It kept the scalp healthy enough that the hair could grow out long without snapping off at the root. That jar cost $1 or $2. The medicated scalp treatment on the pharmacy shelf today charges $15 and $20 for the same sulfur in a smaller tube with a much longer name on the front. Number 13, the egg and the mayonnaise. The Black grandmother beat 2 eggs from the icebox in a teacup, or she spooned a scoop of Hellmann's straight from the jar that sat next to the mustard. Then she worked it through the hair to sit under a warm scarf. The protein in the egg and the oil in the mayonnaise went into every weak strand and filled it back in. 20 minutes under the scarf, then a rinse in cool water, never hot, or the egg would cook right in the hair. It came out heavy, soft, and slow to break. That jar cost 39 cents on the shelf. The protein and keratin treatment on the salon menu today is $40 and up, built from the same egg and oil a woman in Harlem already kept in her icebox for sandwiches. Number 12, plaiting it up at night. Before bed, the hair went into braids, sometimes a few thick plaits, sometimes neat cornrows laid close to the scalp. A Black mother did it for a daughter at the kitchen table while the radio played low. The braids kept the hair stretched out and protected all night long. It never tangled, and it never rubbed off against the pillow. In the morning, they came loose into soft, deep waves, with no heat laid on the hair at all. That trick cost nothing, not 1 single cent. The protective styling and the waving creams being sold now are selling back exactly what Black women already did for free at every kitchen table uptown. Number 11, the apple cider vinegar rinse. After washing, a cup of water with a good splash of vinegar stirred in, poured over the hair and left to sit. The vinegar laid the cuticle down flat so the light bounced straight back off it. The scalp came clean without being stripped raw. The sour smell was gone in a few minutes. The shine sat there the whole week long. The Black grandmother bought a bottle for a couple of dimes at the corner store. The clarifying rinse in the salon bottle today asked $25 and $30 to do exactly what a splash of vinegar did at the kitchen sink. Number 10, the Afro and the pick. This was the crown of the whole decade, and a Black woman wore it high and round and on purpose. 1970s. Soul Train on the television set on a Saturday afternoon. The fan going in the window. The pick riding in the back pocket everywhere she went. The African-American grandmother misted the hair with a little water and sealed it with a light coat of Afro sheen. Then she picked it out from the root until it stood full and even the whole way around. A touch more oil at night, the scarf laid over it, and it held its round shape till morning. That pick cost $25 at the drugstore counter. The volumizing mousse and the curl cream sold for the Afro today run $15 and $20 a bottle. The fullest hair of the whole century came from plain water, 1 drop of oil, and a plastic pick. Number 9, the rosemary and sage rinse. A handful of rosemary off the pot on the windowsill, or a little sage out of the spice rack, simmered on the stove and left to cool, then poured over the scalp and worked in. The rosemary stirred the roots to grow. The sage quietly darkened the gray coming in at the temples, with no bottle of dye at all. The Black grandmother massaged it into the scalp at the sink and let it dry in the warm air. It cost her sunlight and a pot of water off the tap. Last year, that very same rosemary water went around the internet like somebody had just invented it. It was filmed by young women who had no idea a Black grandmother uptown was doing it 50 years before them. The rosemary oil in the tiny bottle now asks $28 an ounce. Number 8, the roller set overnight. The dryer lived down at the beauty shop, not in the house. So the Black grandmother wound the sponge rollers in at the kitchen table and then slept on them. Soft pink foam rollers, or the mesh brush rollers, rolled down the length of the hair and pinned in place. Learning to sleep on a whole head full of rollers was its own skill, and a Black girl learned it young. By morning, the set was dry, and the curl was there, bouncy and full, with no heat ever laid on the hair. A bag of rollers cost $1 or $2 and lasted for years in a drawer. The curling wand today runs $90 and burns out the very body those rollers built up. Number 7, the coffee rinse for shine. A cup of strong Black coffee gone cold, or a pot of black tea steeped dark, poured through the hair as the last rinse and left to sit. It deepened the color and put a low, rich shine into every strand. The Black grandmother saved the last of the morning coffee in the pot for exactly this. The gray got softer. The dull spots got glossy. It cost her nothing but what was already sitting on the stove. The color glossing service in the salon chair now runs $60 and $80 for the very shine a cold cup of coffee gave for free. Number 6, the grease and cover. The Black grandmother warmed a palm of coconut oil, or the olive oil, right off the kitchen shelf, and worked it from root to end. Then she covered it with a plastic cap and a warm scarf tied over the top. The heat of her own head drove that oil down deep, into every strand. She left it in through her chores, an hour or two, then washed it out at the sink. The hair came back soft, heavy, and slow to snap. That oil cost a few cents out of the pantry. The deep conditioning mask on the shelf today asks $15 and $25 for the same oil she cooked her Sunday dinner in. Number 5, the wrap around the head at night. After a fresh press, the Black grandmother took the brush and swept all the hair around the crown of the head in one smooth motion. She laid it flat and tied the satin scarf over it. That wrap kept the hair straight, swingy, and full without ever touching heat to it a second time. In the morning, she took the scarf down and it fell right back into place. The trick cost nothing but the 2 minutes it took to lay it. It saved the hair from the nightly iron that thins the ends out and dries them to straw. The style lasted the whole week because she never had to cook it again. Number 4, dusting the ends. Every so often, on a Saturday at the kitchen sink, the older Black woman took the scissors and trimmed just the very tips of the hair, the small worn ends, and nothing more. A split end left alone travels up the strand and thins out the whole head over time. Caught early with a quick dusting, the breakage stopped at the bottom and never once climbed. The hair stayed thick from root to end because the weak part was gone before it could ever spread. That trim costs nothing at home. The salon charges $40 and $60 for the same 5 minutes with a pair of scissors. Number 3, the bristle brush before bed. A real boar bristle brush, wood handle, the kind a Black mother kept for years and handed to a daughter when the handle finally wore smooth. The Black grandmother brushed slow from the scalp on down. The bristles carried the scalp oil the full length of the hair, out to the dry ends that needed it most. A little grease first, then the slow brushing, then the scarf tied down over it. The strands came out coated and shining from the inside, not out of a pump. That brush cost a few dollars one time. The shine serum in the bottle today asked $20 and $30 to fake what a wooden brush moved along for free. Number 2, the tending at night. This is the one that ties the other 19 together, and it is the one nobody could ever sell because it was never a product at all. Every night, no matter how long or hot the day had been, the Black grandmother sat down at the mirror and tended the hair. A little grease worked in, the ends checked over, a part re-oiled, the scarf tied down. 10 quiet minutes at the end of the night, every single night, at her own mirror. The hair stayed thick because somebody showed up for it. Not once in a while when there was time, every night without fail. There is no bottle on any shelf on earth that can sell you that. Number 1, and this one is not a grease or an oil or a trick at all. It is the thing sitting underneath all of it, the reason any of the rest ever worked. These Black women believed they already had everything they needed, right there in the kitchen, on the dresser, in their own 2 hands. A Black woman did not believe she was too poor for full hair. She did not believe good hair was something you had to go out and buy. She believed she was worth the hour it took, worth the pressing comb and the scarf and the slow brush before the light went out. The hair was tended like something loved because the woman under it was loved. That is the thing that truly vanished. Not the beer, not the blue jar, not the pick. What we lost was the belief that a Black woman was worth 1 hour of her own care. Give a head of hair that belief for a year, and it comes back thick. It always did. So there it is, the whole list, every bit of it from Black women who never charged a soul for it. If even one of these helped you tonight, do me one small kindness back. Tap the like. It tells the channel to carry this work to one more woman who needs it. And subscribe so the next list finds you when it comes. Take care of the hair you were given. It was never the problem. I will see you on the next one.